So we are live here in the presidential suite. We're selling this one as the Moon Package as a part of the Miami Crypto Experience on April 21st, 22nd, and 23rd here at the Intercontinental. And we are very fortunate to have the Bitcoin Queen in the presidential suite, and I think it's pretty fitting. So we're really excited to have you on. We had Erica, one of your colleagues, on earlier today. So this is the second show, and we're going to talk a little bit about art.
Yeah, so Bitcoin Queen, obviously we want to know your story. We want to know a lot about what you do in the space. Some very exciting things. Bruno just mentioned NFT. So what the heck is an NFT? Tell everybody what that is.
So an NFT is a non-fungible token, and essentially that means is we have, let's say, the US dollar, and you can't tell another dollar from the other because they're just all mass printed. An NFT basically means that you have a unique asset. It's unique to, it's the first one made, it's a collector's item. That's the way you want to think of NFTs. And that's the same way you want to approach the space, because I find it very important. Something unique about me is that I actually grew up without internet. Just for a reference, I'm 24. I didn't have internet until I was 18. So I wasn't someone who was super early in the space. I was someone who just so happened to stumble upon it, which is why it's so important to me. And something that Erica had actually mentioned earlier with you guys was the fact that the 2008 recession affected her so much. I was very young at the time, and that also affected me a lot, which is why I was so, inclined to get into the space, because the financial freedom was super important. And there's different ways that you can go when you get into crypto, whether it's the financial aspect or the, real estate marketing aspect. NFT is something for me that artists have always struggled to get through, right?
Absolutely.
Artists have a really hard time selling their work and getting their pieces out there. So NFTs for me just gave a extra use case of ownership and authenticity to the art space. And there's so many spaces that you can use NFTs, whether it's real estate or collections, baseball cards. There's so many use cases for NFTs, which is why it, to me, is just amazing. It's amazing what's happening.
Yeah, and I think, we talked a lot with Erica this morning about just how invigorating it is to actually have leaders in the space that are females. We have a very diverse community here in Miami, across the globe, that's coming together to work as a community to change the world. And that's what we plan to do in April. I know you had mentioned earlier, prior to the show, that you did Block Babes. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Block Babes is something that I founded and then co-founded. I brought some other girls on, and basically what we did was we wanted to empower women and children to learn about blockchain, because the men will come. I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but guys are kind of inclined in this space to get on technology and finance. But a lot of women, even from foreign countries, they are shunned from finance. They're shunned from learning these things. So I think it's super important to teach women and our future generation, which is where you actually make an impact about this technology. A lot of these older people, we know Peter Schiff and even Warren Buffett, they don't look as Bitcoin as a use case. They think it's
poison,
right?
Isn't that what he called it?
Yes, rat poison. Even the other day, he was saying that Elon Musk would never invest into Bitcoin, And here we are.
Wow.
So these are things that are actually impactful for our community, and I believe that if we instill these teachings into our younger generations, they will understand and become financially free, because that's what's really all about.
Yep. Yeah. Building generational wealth too. We've talked a lot about that recently. And, when we have educated, diverse groups of people coming together under one roof, like we're going to in April, that's how we empower other people to secure that generational wealth. And that is what I think is becoming a catalyst for this space across the world, right? Yeah. And it's not just here in Miami, and that's what's so special. So we are really excited. I know Wayne and I, just getting to meet everybody here in Miami and understanding how much passion they have to bring everyone under one roof for all the right reasons. We're not here for making money. We're not here for a cash grab. This is really about bringing a community of people together who are so passionate to change the world as one. So,
Guys, I just have to back up. I'm going to have an unpopular opinion here with you guys for a second. But Warren Buffett was right when he called Bitcoin rat poison. He was. And the rats are the banks and the current financial system. So if those are the rats, Bitcoin is the rat poison. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Right, I can agree with that.
I had to explain myself before I got thrown off the set. Before I got thrown off the set, I wanted to explain myself. But, hey. All right.
No, but that's true because over years, the original bankers were goldsmiths, right? We all know that. It used to be back where gold was the official currency, and eventually it got too heavy to actually carry around, and we had paper notes that were issued that you said, hey, this person has this much gold, and then you reassign ownership. And we've gotten to a stage where gold was banned and essentially seized by the government at one point in time, and then after that we've had these digital and now physical notes that get printed and get distributed to the populace. But unfortunately these nodes are deflationary assets, and you only lose money when you hold on to them. Banks don't really have the amount or capacity to hold a lot of these nodes because they don't actually make money off them. And that's just the truth, 30%, it used to be 20%, now it's 30% of currency that was printed last year was printed last year.
Yeah.
Literally just that, So these are things that we need to take into perspective. I know that the U.S. unfortunately takes a lot of these things for granted because we don't really see the effects of inflation here or the debaclement of government as much as Latin America or somewhere like Africa would see, where they don't trust their government to hold on to currency because they are much, much, much more corrupt. And those aspects, but it's really important that people are financially literate because they don't understand how savings accounts work. They don't understand when a bank gives them 1%, they don't understand how that works. So it's really important for me to teach and preach this information because it's not abundant knowledge.
Yeah.
Let's talk about education, actually. I think this is a good one. We haven't had an opportunity to tackle that problem yet, right? And we think about going to a Harvard or an MIT or any, institute of technology at a high level in this country today, it's going to cost you $60,000, $70,000 a year. Okay, that is going to become one of the biggest global problems that we've ever faced, and especially here in North America. People financing education that is useless in some cases. I mean, we have folks out there with a general studies degree at a bachelor's level, and they paid $120,000 for it. What they should have done is come on April 21st, 22nd, 23rd to the Miami Crypto Experience and spend the $700 to $1,000 on a package, and that knowledge that they gain over 3 days might be more impactful than the 4 years that they just spent $100,000 and $200,000 on a loan. Okay, and they need to get the knowledge and the education so that they can empower their future, because this is the future, right? And we all know that, but we need to bring more people in and help them get educated, because the old saying of education is power, it's not a bachelor's degree anymore, guys and girls. It is knowing how to influence generational wealth and grow passive income streams. And that is exactly what crypto has been doing and is going to be a catalyst for into the future, all the things we've been talking about. But, again, I think we just have to really focus on how do we educate ourselves the right way. And that's what Wayne's been doing. That's what the Bitcoin Queen's been doing. That's what Zero Cool's been doing. And we're absolutely not going to stop. This experience is going to be incredible.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, only because I am one of those people. I went to school for 3 years and got a health degree that I will never use because I was taught that 20% of Western medicine is accurate, and that disappointed me to the utter extent. And halfway through college, I found Bitcoin, and I said, do I finish? Do I give my parents a degree? I decided to give my parents a degree, but for what cost? It's true. And if there's anything the internet has taught us, is that the people who started Apple, the people who started Amazon, the people who started these huge conglomerate blue chip company that we see on the stock markets these days were dropouts. And that's just the truth.
Yeah, and timing, so many people are hearing the hype around Bitcoin right now. It's going mainstream as far as at least the awareness. Many people ask, is it too late? Am I too late? And it's still early. Back to your Apple analogy. Yeah, it'd have been nice to have Apple in the early 80s, but if you bought Apple in the early 2000s, you were still doing pretty good. So it's getting involved now, you're not late to the game. You're late to the game when you walk into anywhere and everywhere and you swipe a wallet and you don't even know what you're paying. It's automatically paying it. Just like email is today, whereas email in the 90s, you needed to know code to send email in the 90s. Now to send an email, a grandmother can do it with the swipe of a finger on an iPad, not understand how it works. So there's still a lot of time. Would you agree as far as it's not too late?
No, absolutely not. And even in the aspects of going back to Bitcoin and price, the day that Bitcoin hits $1 million, I will have the biggest smile on my face, because I keep telling people I think right now is an era where people are discovering cryptocurrency, but they're slightly confused. You know, cryptocurrency is a market in itself. You have stocks, you have forex, and then you have crypto. A lot of people don't understand crypto. They don't understand fractional buying. Someone had asked me, why is it that you think so many people are enamored with Doge? It's because Doge is a couple pennies. It doesn't have intrinsic value, but because it's a couple pennies, it's attractive. Because people don't understand that they can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. And right there, that shows you how much miscommunication and lack of education actually exists. So from those things, I tell you, it's not too late. We're still early. Can you believe that just the other day, the OCC told banks, hey, you guys can have a node. You guys can potentially run your own stablecoin one day. That was just less than a month ago. And, here we are going into, 2021, in a post-pre, I don't know where we are, COVID world. And we're starting to understand how finances actually work between the inflation of the government and the printing of money. And, can we print more money? These are things that people are understanding now that I don't think a lot of people understood before. And because of that, I truly hope and believe that more people will awake to the blessing of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that have flourished from this ecosystem.
And I think to close this out, because we've had such great discussion, it's, there's a right and there's a wrong way to do cryptocurrency. And we want to show you the right way through a 3-day experience in April. So come out, experience Miami, experience crypto, join the Bitcoin Queen, Blockchain Wayne, all of our team that's going to be here on location, and don't miss this event.